the 18th day of May 2026. Today we begin with two powerful questions confronting Ghana's future. Could you imagine what questions they are? Well, who is shaping the direction of our democracy, and how prepared is Ghana for life after external financial support? Political tensions are rising after Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin addressed the press conference condemning what he describes as a troubling wave of arrests targeting opposition figures and citizens. Questions are now being raised about justice, political intimidation, and the protection of democratic freedoms. At the same time, another major national conversation is gaining momentum: Ghana's eventual exit from the IMF program. Government insists the economy is stabilizing, but many citizens are asking whether ordinary Ghanaians are truly feeling recovery in their daily lives. So today we ask, can Ghana protect democratic accountability while also rebuilding economic confidence? And later on this morning, we'll turn to a deeply human conversation, one that challenges stigma, it challenges ignorance and silence. For too long, many families living with cerebral palsy have faced judgment instead of support. Some children are hidden, mothers are blamed, families are abandoned. But one woman has turned pain into purpose, building hope from personal experience after raising a child living with cerebral palsy. Today we ask, when society refuses to understand disability, who carries the burden? This is not just a conversation about health, it is a conversation about dignity, empathy, inclusion, and the kind of nation we are building. Stay with us. You would enjoy this conversation that we would bring to you today. At the end of the day, we would have learned something about cerebral palsy and how to build a society that fosters inclusion and support. Now let's bring you the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is by Kerry Washington, the very celebrated actress. Your life is your story, and the adventure ahead of you is the journey to fulfill your own purpose and potential. Indeed, your life is your story. How you write it is dependent on you and you alone. You're not going to look at another's dance to find your own dance. You're not going to look at the beginning of another story to determine how yours ends. It's your story and your story alone. Your life is within your hands. The world is your oyster. Please, there's a whole adventure ahead of you, a journey for which you will fulfill your purpose and potential. And so regardless of all that is happening around you, the noise, the jeers, the cheers, the screams, please be focused on writing your story and achieving the purpose and potential that you know you can achieve. Let it not be that you live another's life, you live another's story, you fulfill another's purpose. What would be yours to live? So your life is a story, your own story. Please do well to write it, and write it beautifully. At the end of the day, it is yours to live. That is what we remind you of with our quote of the day. Thank you for joining us a beautiful Monday morning. It's been raining throughout the evening up until this morning. It's quite cold. It's quite calm. I wish you a very safe journey as you go on your way to work. I pray that all that you seek to achieve today will become fruitful for you. You will find it come to a fruition. It's a beautiful day, and so let us set the tone for the rest of the week. We are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, ABC News GH. If you're trying to get us on your regular TV and you're finding challenges, we're still working very hard to get back on your television, but you can again tell your friends, your family that we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, ABC News GH, and so they can catch us there. Leave us a comment. Would love to read it for your attention. We'll bring you the newspaper headlines. We'll bring you some conversations. One that I'm looking forward to is the conversation about cerebral palsy this morning here on ABC in the morning. And you too would not want to miss out on that. At the end of the day, would understand the very need to build a society that is inclusive and a society that gives support. I am ABENA Mante. Thank you from myself and my production and technical team for joining us on this beautiful morning. Right after this break, we bring you the headlines. Please stay.
Playing for your country, enye easy. Scoring, enye easy. Winning, enye easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Baby, we are second. So you remember to pon na advert. Let's why so by advert no you to pon na kwala nim dia.
Do you need a media house to shoot quality TV ad for your company or product? Bring your company's vision to life.
And you make media house we am potential films. So you must so you must don't worry. So you to pon e cost you through advert dia contact them.
We help businesses build their brands.
Ukraine omodwuma ko te omo quality can me so many twa.
Reach their target audience and ultimately drive sales and revenue growth.
Omodwuma be new. Omodwuma is perfect. O contact no be good script about your product. Sound jet. They will give you quality pictures. How do you see it? How do you feel it? Wow. So picture unya ona no makasa. First number way 0541 16 28 28 and repeat 0541 16 28 28. Call them. Number one
Potential Films. We believe in quality.
Some things never change. The meals we grew up loving, the taste that brings everyone together through every pot and every recipe. Gino remains the tomato mix you trust. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning. We are streaming live Facebook and YouTube, ABC News GH. Now let's turn our attention to the front pages of the various newspapers. Let's see what they are reporting for us on this fine Monday morning. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, new economy model takes shape, set for 2027 budget, and $1.6 billion private sector boost for jobs. And it comes with the picture of the finance minister, Dr. Kasiel Ato Forson. Enough talk. Ghana must become nation of builders. Otumfuo charges Ghanaians. Professor Henson named Africa's most influential marketing thinker. Congratulations to you, Professor Henson. Large mines spend $25.2 billion locally. All right, okay, and that has Engineer Dr. Ashigbe on the front page. Well, let's turn attention to more newspapers. On the inside, US-Ghana Defense Agreement. Okay, so there's a full text of petition to the Parliament of Ghana. You can grab a copy of the inside and be abreast with that. Mahama vows to complete 35 Agenda 111 hospitals this year. All right, step in the right direction. We look forward to that. That would make our healthcare delivery better for us. Sudden pomposity of some Mahama appointees. Kwame Owusu-Danso Esquire, right, all right, would read that. Let's turn attention to more newspapers. The Supreme newspaper, NPP condemns Abronya DC's arrest, describes prosecution as constitutional outrage, and it has the picture of Osahin Alexander Afenyo Marking, who is the minority leader. Afokos ex-headmaster vouches for his integrity, okay, ahead of the NPP's elections, internal elections. And Apostle Dr. Nyameche tasks Zoom Lion Kenya to ensure company success. Well, the chairman of the Church of Pentecost during his visit to Kenya and other East African countries. Black Sherif taking Ghanaian music to the global stage. Samuel Clotte says so. Black, the reigning artist of the year. Let's turn our attention to other newspapers. The News Center reports ICC taps Biden as vice chair of Global Digital Economy Commission. All right. Davis Opoku calls for Ghanaian control of mining assets. IMF flags major risks after Ghana's bailout exit. And Abronya's arrest, bail denial meant to stifle dissent. Beg your pardon, that is the minority saying so. Ghana must move from slogans to production. 4822 says so. The exclusive newspaper, NDC renames headquarters Rawlings House. All right. Now Momo Latte advocates gender equality. This is the minister for gender. Zoom Lion Kenya targets illegal dump clearing. All right. And GACC reviews government anti-corruption commitment. Also on the front page of the exclusive, Trade Ministry pushes Africa's economic transformation. On the Punch, hypertension remains a major threat in Ghana. Please do well to check your blood pressure. Please check your blood pressure. If you have the monitor at home, check it. If you do not have the monitor at home, walk into any pharmacy. Many pharmacies, if not all, will check your blood pressure for you for free. They will check your pressure for you for free. Walk into any pharmacy in the morning or in the evening. Check your pressure. Just be abreast with what is happening within you. Go for some medical attention at the hospital. Go for a full body workout. It's for our own benefit. As I say this, I remind myself to do well to check my pressure. I have for North Southwest DCE inspects ongoing Isioko Road Rehabilitation Project. And Hohoi MCE honored for transformational leadership and development. Congratulations to you, Hohoi MCE. On the front page of the Daily Gist, NPP rejects NDC claims IMF program was derailed. A focus former headmaster endorses his NPP chairmanship bid. And we won't be gagged. Afenyo Markin warns over return of culture of silence. But we've had this conversation here a couple of times. We've had this conversation. Is this a culture of silence we are living in? Well, we'll see. FBI tightens news around Asante Achim North MP's neck. And it comes with a picture of Ohene Kwame Frimpong, the MP for Asante Achim North. RTI Commission slaps Finance Ministry with fine. Okay. Well, you know, if you want any information, put in an RTI request. They are obliged to give to you. Hohoi MCE chases NPP activists with BNI CID for filming Akufo-Addo project. Okay. Well, let's turn attention to more newspapers. The Source newspaper. RTI Commission fines Finance Ministry 100,000 Ghana cedis. That's a lot of money when they could have just given out the information. Talk on a case. ECOWAS court to deliver judgment on all ears and eyes on the ECOWAS court to know what this case will get to. IMF control not over. NPP rejects government's exit claims. And Mahama is bringing back criminal libel law. Afenyo Markin says so. These are strong words coming from the minority leader. Metro Lens reports constitutional disgrace. Minority leader fumes over Abronye bail denial. And Osiadia your calls on foreign minister. Okay. Why Muslim women should be allowed to marry. Okay, that's an editorial for all of us interested in a story like that. Please grab a copy of the Metro Lens and read it. The Daily Post also reports government rules out return to global debt markets as IMF bailout ends. Quality of water bodies improving thanks to blue water guards. I do not agree with this. I do not agree with this. Just a few days ago, Ghana Water was reporting that they had to shut down one of their plants because of turbidity levels of water. So I would want to know which quality. Maybe it's not turbidity, it's other qualities. But I mean, the easiest thing you could use to check for the quality of water is the turbidity level, because that is what we can see. As for the heavy metals in the water, you cannot tell me that it has improved. Heavy metals sinking into our water. Nope. So I would want to grab a copy and read it the more, because land minister says that because of the blue water gas, quality of water is improving. No, the videos we've seen do not point in that direction. Well, he has passed out some 452 new guards to help in our fight against illegal mining. We pray that we win this fight. The Daily Statesman reports Darlington Cranting outlines 7-pillar agenda for student leadership. Okay, all right, all the best to you in the outlining. NPP challenges government IMF exit announcement. And Afenyo Markin again is making the front page. NDC resetting Ghana to culture of silence. Minority leader describes Abronye remand as constitutional outrage. And Asante Hene says, businesses must be driven by ethical leadership and strong values. Ghanaian points. GAF to institutionalize annual memorial celebrations. Ghana Armed Forces says so. Don't run down your own government over delayed appointments. Esiedun Ketia tells NDC faithfuls. Apostle Dr. Nyameche urges Zoomlion Kenya workers to prioritize competence and integrity. Choose next leaders on competence, not ethnicity. NPP chairmanship hopeful. Afoko says so. Ghana Navy rescues 7 suspected stowaways from Belgian oil tanker off Tema coast. The custodian RTI Commission fines Finance Ministry 100,000 Ghana cedis. Abronye bail denial mirrors PNDC era persecution. Minority leader says so. Government rules out compensation for DDEP bond holders. Ghanaian Times. Government to invest 1% of GDP in key sectors. This is President Mahama on the post-IMF extended credit facility program. Resist doctrines alien to Christian values. Okay, that is the Superintendent of the Assemblies of God, Reverend Stephen Wengam. Blue Water Guards record gains against Galamsey. The minister, Amakofibwa, says so. Over 5 million Ghanaians may have kidney disease. Please go to the hospital. Please do well to go to the hospital. Get a full body workout. Let's see what's happening in your system. The new publisher. Arrogant appointees chopping big alone. NDC foot soldier spits fire. Headmaster speaks. Afoko, my student has integrity. NPP needs him, all right. And Afenyo Markin warns culture of silence returning to Ghana. They want to silence opposition. The Chronicle reports Mahama is resurrecting the criminal libel law. Osahin, Afenyo Markin says so. Afoko hailed as a unifier in NPP race. These are the two stories on the Chronicle. Africa Today. Kwewu East Chiefs hand over site for 24-hour economy market project. Central Tongue MP champions fight against silent killers. We are dying. Who is dying and why are you dying? There's a lot outlined there. We'll take a look at them. Support growth. Support growth for delegates to vote for Patience Quay as NDC Dom Kwabenya Women's Organizer. All right, all the best to you. Kwewu East, already read that. Openyi Kwame Wadi and family donates. All right, so these are the stories on the front page of the Africa Today news. And these are all the stories we have for you today on the front pages of the newspapers. But one thing is running through Afenyo Markin. He's descended strongly on government. He says that government is rebuilding a culture of silence. And he did not spare the judge who has been presiding over the Abronya case. That some who say that the minority leader has crossed the line. He should have reined himself in. Well, we'll look at that. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll bring you more. We'll take you to that presser where the minority leader spoke. Please stay with us. We'll be back soon.
Without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Markion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World and ABC, as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World and ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild. New releases dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We put the highlights, the dates, the event, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose the tomato mix you trust. because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back, ABC in the Morning Live here on ABC News GH. We're streaming live Facebook and YouTube, ABC News GH. Now let's turn our attention to the minority leader, Alexander Afenyomarkin, who has been speaking on the recent arrest. You'd recall over the past week that the NPP, the New Patriotic Party, has been speaking. They say that government is persecuting opposition voices following the arrest of David Isando, now the detention of Kwame Bafo, who is the Bono regional chairman of the party, popularly known as Abronye DC. The party have not been happy about the happenings that has been occurring to some of their members. Now, the minority leader himself has waded into the conversation and he's had some very strong words to say. Let's take you to the presser where he addressed the press and by extension the public.
And be declared inconsistent and in contravention of Constitution of the Constitution 1992. In my opinion, Section 96(7) of Act 30 as amended is one such legislation that is inconsistent with the Constitution. The general tenor of Section 96 of Act 30, which deals with grant of bail in general, therefore gives very clear indications. On the whole, the courts have a discretion to grant bail to persons appearing before them in criminal cases upon conditions stated therein. The absence of grant of bail in Section 96(7) is therefore odd and unnecessary interference with the discretion of the courts. The lead judgment of the court delivered by my brother Benin JSC, striking down 96(7) of Act 30 as amended as unconstitutional, in which I concur, is not a carte blanche for the court to admit every Tom, Dick, and Harry to bail pending trial, because the removal of the statutory shackles in the impugned Section 96(7) of Criminal Code Offences Act 1960, Act 30. On the strength of these, I set in motion the concerns of the party in respect of the remand of Kwame Bafo Abronye, our Bono regional chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, the party is here deeply troubled by what is happening in our country. What has been done to Mr. Kwame Bafo Abronye, also known as Abronye DC, our Bono regional chairman, is a profound constitutional wrong. It must be condemned without equivocation, without apology, and without delay. The arrest itself, the prosecution and remand of a citizen for words spoken in the public square is not justice. It is persecution. Now let me be honest about where the party stands. The party does not condone irresponsible speech. We never do, and we never will. Public discourse carries responsibility, and we believe deeply in that. Word speech genuinely damages a person's reputation. Ghanaian law already provides a remedy, a civil remedy, measured, proportionate, and designated precisely for that purpose. it's been designed to achieve one aim, to allow a person who is injured to resort to civil reliefs. But what Ghanaian law does not provide, and what it was never designed to provide, is the conversion of a civil grievance, assuming without admitting that one even exists in this case, into a criminal prosecution. It does not authorize the marching of a man before a circuit court, the stripping of his liberty, and his consignment to state intelligence facility. That is not justice. That is the iron fist of state power wearing a legal glove. On the 13th of May 2026, Mr. Abronye was arraigned before Circuit Court 9 here in Accra. He faces 2 counts. First, offensive conduct conducive to breach of the peace under Section 2071 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960. Second, publication of false news under Section 2081 of the same statute. And what is the foundation of these charges? A social media video in which Mr. Abronye criticized a circuit court judge. He questioned that judge's impartiality. He questioned the conduct in the discharge of the public duty as provided for in the judge's judicial function. That is the sum total of his alleged crime. He spoke. He criticized a public officer. By the way, since when did criticizing a judge become a criminal offense in Ghana? Section 2071 requires conduct that is likely to breach, that is likely to occasion a breach of the peace. Political criticism of a public official, however sharp, does not meet that threshold. It is protected expression under Article 21(1)(a) of the 1992 Constitution. And the false news charge? A man expressing a political opinion about judicial conduct is not publishing false news, not by any honest reading of that provision. This prosecution of Abronye is built on sand, and we, the party, will watch it fall. The bail denial. A judge who forgot his oath. By the way, that was not his first. Let me turn to what happened in that courtroom. It demands its own separate and pointed rebuke. Counsel for Mr. Abronye presented a bail application. He argued on solid grounds. The charges, as we all know, are misdemeanors. The accused, as it was made known to the court, has a fixed place of abode. He is a known public figure with reliable sureties. His health and family responsibilities were placed before the court. The prosecution opposed bail on one ground only: that Mr. Abronye, if released, was likely to commit similar offenses. I repeat, according to the prosecution, in opposing the bail application, it said that if Mr. Abronye is released, he was likely to commit similar offenses. In other words, the state asked the court to imprison a man before any findings of guilt because he might speak again. His offense was speaking. And surprisingly, a court agreed. A citizen was therefore imprisoned, not for what he did, but for what he might say. That is not law. That is censorship from the bench. That reasoning is a constitutional disgrace. It is irreconcilable with Article 14 and 19 of the 1992 Constitution, which guarantee personal liberty and the presumption of innocence. A judge who denies bail because an accused may continue to express political opinions has not administered justice. I say what I'm about to say as a practicing lawyer, as someone who has spent his professional life in courtrooms, who has profound respect for our judiciary and deep admiration for those who carry the weight of dispensing justice. I say this not in anger, but in fidelity to the Constitution I have sworn to uphold, and with all the candor, humility, and respect I can command. When a court denies bail not to serve justice, but to serve silence, it has administered political censorship from the bench, and that, with the greatest respect, is a betrayal of every principle that gives judicial office its authority, its dignity, and its legitimacy. Now, let me specifically deal with the nature of the remand. It was a BNI remand, and indeed, even so, there is a missing court order. No court order drawn. Every remaining doubt about the political character of this prosecution is removed by the decision to remand Mr. Abronye into BNI custody. The BNI, by law, is Ghana State Intelligence and Security Service. It is not a remand prison. It exists to address genuine threat to national security. Mr. Abronye posted a critical video about a judge. That is not a national security matter. It never was. This has nothing to do with the criminal justice and everything to do with political intimidation. But there is something even more alarming. I want every Ghanaian to hear this clearly. Even those who hate the guts of Abronye must at least listen to this matter. It has now been 4 days since the court pronounced the remand order. 4 days, as I understand it, on the basis of information available to the party at the time of this statement. Counsel moved up and down the courtroom, the registry, demanding for certified remand order. The court order, as at Friday, has still not been drawn. I therefore simply ask a simple question. On what legal basis did the Ghana Police Service take Abronye into custody and conveyed him to the BNI? On what legal basis did the BNI accept and held him? A remand order is not a verbal instruction. It is a formal judicial instrument. It is a written legal authority upon which the deprivation of a citizen's liberty must rest. Was a Ghanaian citizen delivered into intelligence custody on nothing more than a word of mouth? If so, that detention has no documented lawful foundation whatsoever. So I ask again, the Director General of BNI, did you receive any court order accompanying Abronye's detention? If so, can you provide a copy? If not, why did you accept him? And I ask my Lord, if my Lord thinks he is bold enough, why is he running away from his own court order? By the way, that Circuit Court 9 records are immediately tied. As you are making your submissions, the clerk is typing. So within 5 minutes after court, the records of court must be ready. Why has it taken days? And as at close of business Friday, the order was still not ready. What is the judge trying to tell us? Is he trying to change what he has said in open court? That Abronye should remain in custody until the case is finally determined, not even to the next agenda date. His language was clear. Is he running away from his own language? Is he afraid of public outrage against his own conduct? Article 14 of the 1992 Constitution requires that no person shall be deprived of his personal liberty except as permitted by law, and that every arrested person shall be informed immediately in a language he understands of the reasons of his arrest. The Constitution therefore put before the Ghana Police Service, the Bureau of National Investigation, as well as that Circuit Court 9, which was supposed to be presided over by a judge who has taken a judicial oath, a clear and unambiguous notice of the civil liberties provided for by the Constitution. These are rights guaranteed, far rights. The production of a signed and certified remand order is not a technicality. It is a constitutional imperative. Its absence, if confirmed, would rather render this detention not merely improper but unlawful. What we are witnessing is either a crass dereliction of duty or a raw and deliberate exercise of power designed to show a political opponent where the power lies, with due process and afterthoughts. So the NDC party functionaries who are encouraging this, you should know that your 4 years is now left with some 2.5 years. Your time will come. Those judges should know that President Mohammed's tenure will soon come to an end. They should know this, that God willing, 2028 will be Dr. Bawumia's turn. Indeed, we are reminding them that neither explanation is acceptable in a constitutional democracy. Both demand accountability. Now we see the ghost of criminal libel coming back, buried by Kufuor, but resurrected by President Mahama. There's a deeper dimension to what this government is doing, and it must be named plainly. On 27 July 2001, Ghana's parliament unanimously passed the Criminal Code Act 2001, Act 602, which repealed the criminal libel and seditious laws. President John Agyekum Kufuor gave his assent on 2nd August 2001, striking from our statute books one of the most notorious instruments of state censorship this country had ever known. That repeal was a defining moment in Ghana's democratic maturation, a declaration that in free society, the state has no business imprisoning citizens for what they say. The bill was presented to Parliament by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Attorney General as he then was. The world applauded. Ghana was held up as a model for Africa. But before we go further, let me be precise about one important historical fact. The criminal libel law was not created by the PNDC or NDC. It is a colonial inheritance drafted in 1893 by the British colonial administrators and embedded in our statute books to suppress dissent against imperial rule. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, our first president, inherited it at independence. It was codified in our Criminal Offences Act 1960. The law predated the Rawlings era by decades. But what history will never forgive the PNDC and NDC for is this. They weaponized that colonial relic most ferociously, most systematically, and with the greatest cruelty against the citizens of a free Ghana. Under PNDC military regime of Jerry Rawlings, journalists, academics, lawyers, trade unionists, and ordinary citizens were arrested, detained without trial, and tortured for daring to speak. The culture of silence was not a metaphor. It was a lived reality enforced by brute state for power. Mr. Tommy Thompson, publisher of Free Press, and Mr. Mike J., a senior writer, in 1982, were among those imprisoned without trial for editorials critical of the PNDC. Mr. John Kublenu, the editor, was separately arrested in 1983 and detained without charge before being transferred to Insawam prison. He died in 1984. Shortly after his release, his health destroyed by the conditions of his detention. He was never charged. He was never tried. He simply died for daring to write. Tommy Thompson himself continued to face harassment and repeated prosecution and died in 1998. His death, a direct consequence of brutalities he endured in his long fight for press freedom. 2 men, 2 deaths. The blood is on the hands of that regime. Abdul Malik Kwekubaku Jr. was arrested and tortured under the PNDC. He has spoken publicly about being made to crawl the full length of Military Parade Square on his knees until they bled. About being caned on his waist. About 25 days at the Fields Engineers facility that left him physically impacted. About losing control of his bodily function for days on end, all for speaking truth to power. Kwesi Pratt Jr. was jailed and tortured during that same period. So was Akotampa and many others whose names history has not fully preserved. Then came the NDC in constitutional form. And even under the democratic dispensation, the party found uses for the criminal libel law it had inherited. On 23 July 1998, 2 of Ghana's most respected newspaper editors, the same Abdul Malik Kwekubaku Jr. of The Guide and Alhaji Haruna Atta of Weekend Statement, were convicted by the Court of Appeal and sentenced to 1 month in prison. Their crime? Publishing a story about the former First Lady. They were dispatched to separate prisons, Akuse, Winneba, and Anumabo, in a deliberate attempt to break their spirits and prevent visits from supporters. Images of Kwekubaku and Haruna Atta in handcuffs being marched to prison are etched in the collective memory of every Ghanaian who loves freedom. In 1996, editors Nana Kofi Kumsin of the Ghanaian Chronicle, Ebenezer Kwaku, and Tommy Thompson of the Free Press were arrested and charged with publishing false news with intent to injure the reputation of the state. Those exact words, publishing false news, the same statutory weapon this government is now deploying against Abronye. And when the court came to repeal the criminal libel law, the then NDC chairman, Obed Yawasamwa, who had also served as Attorney General under Rawlings government, declared publicly that the law could be repealed over his dead body. Over his dead body. That is the NDC's historic relationship with free speech. That is the tradition President Mahama now chooses to continue. The MPP abolished the law that the NDC swore to keep. And now the NDC is quietly rebuilding what the NPP tore down. Now the Mahama administration, unable to openly reverse that landmark reform without international condemnation, has chosen a more cunning path. Rather than restore criminal libel by name, it is reconstructing the criminal libel regime in practice, hiding behind sections 207 and 208 of Act 29 to achieve through the back door what it cannot defend through the front. The charges against Abronye, Baba Amando, David Esando, and others are in substance and in effect criminal libel prosecutions. The only difference is the label on the charge sheet. The intent is the same. The mechanism is the same. The consequence is the same. Arrests, remand, imprison, silence. President Kufuor abolished criminal libel to set Ghana free. President Mahama is rebuilding it brick by brick to cage opposition. So I ask President Mahama, is this the legacy your second coming is leaving Ghanaians with? I pray it is a no. When civil remedies exist, criminal prosecution is a political choice. I repeat, when civil remedies exist by law, criminal prosecution is a political choice, and that is the choice this government has made. I made this point earlier in these proceedings when I started, and I return to it now because it deserves to be stated plainly and in its full legal force. Ghanaian law already provides a civil remedy for any person who genuinely believes they have been defamed. It has always been there. It exists today. The aggrieved party may approach the civil courts. They may sue. They may place their case before a judge. They may walk away with their reputation vindicated and with damages in hand. Not a single arrest is required for any of that. Not a single bail application. Not a single remand into BNI custody. The civil law achieves the stated objective, the vindication of reputation, without any of those consequences.
Well, so Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin speaking on the arrest of Abronya and by extension arrest of some members of the NPP. He says that the Mahama government is taking us back to the days of criminal libel. But indeed, is that so? I'd also believe that Afenyo-Markin has taken a strong stance, and rightly so, because of what is happening. And then on the other hand, I'd also believe that he has overstepped, especially with regards to comments that he made concerning the judge involved in the case. But the whole conversation about criminal libel law, which was repealed in 2001, bringing that up throws us all back to a conversation that, whether we want or not, we have to see whether indeed government is only doing its work. I mean, or government institutions, public institutions, I would say, are doing the jobs that they have been mandated to do. Whether it is really an overreach by the minority leader in saying that we are going back to those dark days. We know what our constitution says about our freedom of expression and what the you can say in the media space. Well, we'll continue to follow this conversation and see what more comes up. Yesterday, on the Facebook page of Kwesi Botwe Jr. And one of the NPP communicators, he was talking about having received some information from the wife of Abronya concerning his inability to assess meals and his drugs, seeing that Abronya himself has been ill for a while. He had gone out of the country to seek health care, and so this is an issue that we need to look at. I pray that nobody is remanded into police custody and loses their lives. Nobody actually wants that, because it opens a kind of worms that nobody wants to have opened. And so while the minority leader has spoken, has really spoken against government, we'll see if government would also respond to it, because government communicators have also said that this is really not a matter of government silencing anybody. It is the various institutions that are doing their work. If he has flouted any laws or any rules, institutions that are mandated are following up. And so to lay all of these claims at the doorstep of government is unfair. Well, so these are all the conversations that are coming up from there and will continue to follow. It's now time to bring you our main discussion, a conversation I have been looking forward to. Cerebral palsy, one that is all around us, right? But we do not pay particular attention to. One thing that we do the most is the stigmatization of it, is to look at people who are affected as if they do not belong. Today we'll throw light on cerebral palsy, and at the end of the conversation, we would have been educated and would learn that we need to build a country, a society of inclusion, and a society that gives support, especially to those that are differently abled than we are. Right after this break, do stay.
Never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose the tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We pull the highlights, the dates, the events, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
Some things never change. The meals we grew up loving, the taste that brings everyone together. Through every pot and every recipe, Gino remains the tomato mix you trust. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Make easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose a tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild. New releases dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We put the highlights, the dates, the events, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Make easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild. New releases dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We put the highlights, the dates, the events, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose a tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
you for staying with us. You're still watching ABC in the morning live here on ABC News GH. We turn our attention to a very important conversation. After about 16 years raising a child living with cerebral palsy and experiencing firsthand the challenges and overcoming those challenges day by day, she has created a safe space for other parents, educating on cerebral palsy and giving support that she herself did not receive at the beginning of her journey. Ellen Afazi is the executive director with God Cerebral Palsy Ghana. She joins me here this morning. Good morning, Ellen, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I've been looking forward to this conversation, Ellen.
Thank God he's coming on today.
With God Cerebral Palsy Ghana. This is one that was birthed out of your own challenges. Walk us through that.
Okay, and let me greet your viewers. Having a child with cerebral palsy in one way or the other has exposed me to certain realities of life that initially I didn't know that I wouldn't even be able to stand if I had been told. My child is a blessing, let me put it first, because people see children with cerebral palsy and they think that, oh, this one is pity all over. But my child is a blessing. She's my testimony. I had her when I didn't know much about disability. Although my 3 grandfathers were visually impaired, yes, but I had not seen anything that has to do mostly with the brain. So having her initially, I didn't understand the condition. And the funny and most interesting part of living in Ghana, in Africa, is that most of the things that you are supposed to be told are being withheld by doctors because they think that, I don't know whether they think you can't handle it or they think that you are not supposed to know, especially when you go to the labs and you come back with your results and the doctor looks at it and he said, everything is fine. But you look at it and you see that some parts are high, some parts are low, but you will not be explained to why it is so. And that was my case. I left the hospital on the second day knowing that my child was running temperature, but the nurse told me that everything was normal. So when I left the hospital, she wasn't breastfeeding well, came back 6 days' time, was referred to 37 hospital. We were there for a while. We had to move to Kolebu. And it was just like that. I didn't even know what was wrong with her.
All the time from your first hospital to 37 and to Kolebu, you had not been given any information?
No, all that I knew was that my child had jaundice.
Oh.
So I moved. In fact, it took me 9th month before a kind doctor was able to tell me that your child has cerebral palsy.
9 months?
Yes.
After you had your baby?
Yes.
So within that first 9 months, all you knew was that your child was jaundiced?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the developmental delay, oh, she'll be fine. She'll delay. But when the reality setting was 9th month, when I went, I was at Ridge Hospital, and the doctor told me that your child has cerebral palsy, and I didn't even know what it was then. But after reading about it, then I was like, no, this cannot be my child. And I thought that, okay, he said, oh, development will be slow, so I thought it was just going to take some few days or months. But 16 years, and we are still on that journey, yes.
You're on the journey. It's been a long journey.
A very long journey, an interesting one.
This is you, a new mother, who had not experienced that before. You were not, I believe that before you had a baby, you were not aware of anything like cerebral palsy.
No.
You were not. And so this hits you, a new mother who is overcoming the changes that comes with giving birth to a baby, whether you even have them 5 times or 10 times before. Every child comes with its own newness, and you are hit with this. What was it for you? How was that first period, a few months after you were informed that your child was going to live with cerebral palsy?
You know, in 2010, when I had Nanamba, the narrative about cerebral palsy was very negative. That was when they had the Insuba and those kind of things. So you having a child with cerebral palsy automatically means you have been cursed, you have done something wrong, those kind of negative stigma and narrative that comes with it. But I didn't understand, and initially, psychologically, you would think that, okay, maybe it is that I went through so many processes with pastors. I said to myself I wasn't going to any shrine, any place, but anywhere that God is. There are certain places, yes, there are certain churches you go and it's like, you have committed a sin, which you don't even know which sin you have committed. And it was so bad that at that stage, you cannot even sit in a trotro with your child and have that comfortable, peaceful journey to wherever you are going. Sometimes you are asked to get down or pay for the whole row because nobody wants to sit by you. And it was challenging. The education was not there. And we are still trying. We haven't gotten there yet. But we hope that people will understand that cerebral palsy is a medical condition that can happen to any child, any parent, anyone at any time. It has to do with the brain. If you don't protect the head, if you don't protect the brain, if you take certain things for granted, sometimes it may even hit you without even knowing. So it's something that we all need to look out for, because during those stages and those times, it was really, really, really stressful, because a young lady that has gotten married, you don't know what cerebral palsy is all about, and you are being told that your child has cerebral palsy. They don't know when she's going to walk, when she's going to, and there's no cure for cerebral palsy. Let me make it so clear that there's no cure. You can only manage it. So it is better that you look out for the signs, get the intervention early, so that at least the child can get some kind of improvement. During that time, it wasn't so. Just as I told you, during the 9th month, before I got to know that my child has cerebral palsy, and even with that, I was told that development will delay. I wasn't told that it's a lifetime condition. I need to, all that the doctor said was that get help, because development will delay.
We understand that psychologists in our hospitals who also give support for parents who are going through situations such as yours. You mentioned that you were told that your child had cerebral palsy and that was it. You did not receive any psychological help to deal with it.
At that time, no. I didn't. At that time, we were at the time that when sometimes you ask too many questions and doctors are like, are you teaching me my job or something? And you know, parents are so comfortable with, oh, everything is fine, go home. If I had asked questions on the second day, maybe my nanama will be working and be doing the basic things that some children do. But I didn't ask questions. I was told that, oh, it's normal, some children are warm-blooded. That was the quoted word.
From the hospital?
Yes, the nurse told me. And I was okay with that. Maybe if I had thrown more, maybe I would have gotten a different answer or solution to it. But I went home, and 16 years, she's still lying down at one place.
Oh. We understand that this is a traumatic damage to the brain.
The brain.
It could be before birth or during birth.
Or after birth.
Or after birth. Would you want to share with us how, if you had any challenges before birth or was something that happened after birth?
Okay. I had no challenge that I had a normal birth. I think it was during the 6th month that I had this hip issue. But there was a time that I was going for a scan, and the gentleman that was actually taking the scan screamed. And I asked, what is it? He said, nothing. When you go, your doctor will explain. I went to the doctor. I said, the gentleman screamed when he was actually going through the process. What is it? He also said, nothing. So when they said nothing, I thought, okay, maybe it's nothing. But maybe if they have explained to me that this is what we are seeing, and maybe giving me the chance or the opportunity to decide on what to do, maybe I would have decided on different options that they would have, that at the end of the day, my child wouldn't have maybe come out with a severe kind of cerebral palsy. So you are not being, you are not put in the known at the initial stage to know what is actually going on. So it just comes to you, they just throw it at you.
16 years ago is 2010. It means that this is not too far
no, not
behind. This is relatively new, and so this is time where we expect our doctors, our medical practitioners, our caregivers to give us all the information. I mean, to hold back, you say that the sonographer screamed.
Yeah.
He tells you the doctor will speak with you. You go, the doctor also says everything is fine. You believe that gap also affected you as a mother?
I've been cerebral palsy. One can never know. It comes whilst pregnant, during pregnancy, during childbirth, after. So I actually don't know when it's really occurred, because I also had a delayed birth. I went into I went into labor. That was on Thursday, and I gave birth on Saturday.
That was a long period.
That was a long period, and even that on the Saturday, the doctor had to come and break my water because I was in too much pain. And when she came out, she didn't cry immediately. Yes, she didn't cry immediately. It took a while. That the nurse was asking me, "What sex do I want?" And when I said I want a girl, and it was like, "What if it's not a girl?" And I pray your daughter cries. And I said, "So she's not crying, and you are here asking me these questions?" Before she turned to her, and later I heard her crying. So it could be during that time. It could be the time that, just as you said, the sonographer was actually having the scan that he saw, but it's actually happened on the second day that I noticed that she was running temperature, and on the third day, I think on the sixth day, we went back to the hospital, and she was totally yellow.
That's very difficult, even for myself who did not go through your situation. I do not want to imagine how it was for you from that period of your sonographer screaming up until you had your baby. But you carried your challenge, as it was, and decided that you wanted to give help to other people by creating With God Cerebral Palsy Ghana. For many of us, when we face challenges as huge as this, we crawl into our shell, want to deal with it alone. What's made you say that, regardless of this big challenge I'm facing, I would help my daughter, and I would also help others who are going through this situation?
One thing that I noticed was that there are stages of grief that we all go through, and of course I went through them. Alongside, I noticed that, okay, it's not that people do not want to associate much with such children, but the education was not there. The negative narrative is that you are going to the river to get water, you have this, all those saying. The myth has gotten into the minds of people, and they think that that is it. So alongside, I thought that, okay, maybe if people know that Nanama had jaundice, she was running temperature on the second day, that was not really attended to, and understand the condition, they will appreciate you more. Because there's one thing I always say, that with having a child with cerebral palsy, I don't wish it for my worst enemy. It drains you all over, financially, emotionally, psychologically, everywhere. So if there is a way to prevent it, then it's better we give it out now. So the education was not there. People do not understand that it's a medical condition that can happen to anyone. I had parents that comes to my center that their children was in class 6. Then the child had malaria. Then the cerebral thing set in. They had convulsion, and now they are down. Can't walk again, can't do. People had regular children, but alongside a sickness set in that did not pay much attention, and they have it. So if the education is there, that people know that it is not only during pregnancy or within, but after too, you need to take care of your child. When the child is hitting his head on the floor, most times you should actually look out for those signs. So when the education comes in, people appreciated it more. My family didn't understand it at first. Nobody wanted to, they think that, okay, away from this, because nobody had it. But at the end of the day, when I went online and some of them started listening, when we meet, we talk about it, they understood that, oh, okay, so it's a condition that, so looking at it from that side, you can be in the room and cry all you want. It is pity you'll get. But when you step out there and you know that this is the gift God has given you, what can God make out of what I have? Then, of course, you can reach out to others So when I noticed it that, okay, I can do something out of it, Nanama can be an inspiration to others. Then I worked and I listened and I noticed that a lot of children are being locked in their rooms. Not because parents are not capable of going out to do any, but at the end of the day, the system, the society has not provided anything concrete for anyone to stand on. So you come out there and there's nothing. You sell food nobody wants to buy. And at the end of the day, you feel so rejected, you feel so alone. And I always say that with having a child, you feel so imprisoned. Because 247, you are with your child and nobody understands. All they look at you is that, what has she done? What is happening? So I stretch out the hand that, okay, we can do this together, because one person cannot do it alone. What am I going to say? It is only me and my experience. But if we all come together with our experiences, with what we are going through, what happened, and some of them, their parents' own negligence, one, doctors' own negligence, sometimes condition, environmental condition that you cannot even control, set in and brought this condition. So at the end of the day, we came out and we said, okay, let's give a helping hand out there. Let's tell people that we also exist. And because my child is differently able, does not mean that she can't be given the opportunities other children are given. Because just as we were talking earlier, that Farida is doing great with living with cerebral palsy. So if other children were given such an opportunity, especially the mild, the moderate, were given such an opportunity, of course, the world would have been a different place by now. So that was what inspired, and I said, okay, let me step out there, because if I cry, it is only in my room. But if I speak out, others will hear and they will come and support.
That's a very beautiful thing you did, to turn your pain into a purpose bigger than yourself, to help other parents who are going through this situation. And so now, setting up your foundation, setting up with God Cerebral Palsy Ghana, how many parents and their children have you been able to help?
Setting up, initially it was like a sort of group, parents coming together to encourage ourselves to run, to discuss issues. Then later the vision and broadened, and they said, okay, let's get other things done. Because we were listening to some of the parents and we noticed that, okay, you've lost your job, some are not even able to go to church because of the stigma and other things. Okay, the child will be here. 16 years, she's still here with me, and she will continue to be here with me. What kind of things can I put in place so that even when I'm not there, she can also be able to do certain things for herself? So when we started, it was just about 5 mothers. Then we moved. Now we are over 200 and something.
Wow.
Because in Teshi alone, we are about 115 or so. Not even bringing all on board, just the few that we meet and we share. And with Winneba too, we have quite a number, a huge number there. And as I told you, it's all over Ghana. And in as much as with God Cerebral Palsy is doing its part, the parents and organization association has also come together that we are also trying to advocate and trying to put measures in place so that parents having said children or caregivers having said children would have a very comfortable life, because the system actually talks about your child. The common fund that we get is about your child. But what about me? I'm with her 247. I can't leave her and do anything. What is being put in place for me as the caregiver so that I will be able to take care of the child? Because if I'm not strong, recently I had stroke. And when I was when I was down with the stroke, the question is, I wasn't even crying for myself. I was crying for my daughter. What happens to her? Because government have not set up certain rehabilitation centers and other things that your child can go there and have that kind of service that will make her also live independently. So if you, the parent, is not there, then it means there's a standstill. What happens? I
was going to come onto the policy aspect of it, and we'll turn attention to it. But this is where every child deserves education. We understand that cerebral palsy has various forms. There's the mild,
The moderate, and the severe, and the profound.
Severe, yes. And so there are some children who cannot even move at all. Is that your situation?
Yes.
Okay. But, I mean, kids need an education.
Yes.
How are we incorporating them into education sector? We know there's a school for the blind. We know there's a school for those who are hearing impaired and speech impaired. What about for those who are living with cerebral palsy?
Okay. So the main idea was that the special schools are made for a category of people. So the inclusion came in that let's get all of them involved. And it's actually working a little bit for a certain kind of disability. But when it comes to children with cerebral palsy or children with developmental issues, we can say that this is on paper. But on the grounds, the story is different. Because you enter into a school and you want to enroll your child and they would... Is it politely or nicely put it that we don't have the system in place to accept your child? Those that will accept your child, leave the child alone and carry the other. I have had such an experience.
They tell you that?
Yes, they will take the child in, but when you pass by during the lunch time, afternoon time, you'll see that your child is alone in a class, while the other children have been carried to another class or being left alone. Yeah. And that was my experience in some schools. So inclusion, we have a long way to go. And I think that if it's been, the implementation is being enforced, I think that we'll get somewhere. Because as a parent, I carry my child and headmistress or proprietor said, you can't take. I go back to the special education unit and I complain about it. And okay, finally they take the child and they leave the child alone there. What else?
The stigma is starting from a very young age.
It's starting from, yes. So it should, if we are putting up the policy, we should make sure that it's being implemented and implemented very well. Because inclusion on my child, it doesn't work. And when you talk to most parents, they will tell you the same thing, that it is on paper, but we are not getting it on the grounds. And we are pushing it, and we hope that voices like yours will also set in, so that it will not be for one category of people, because education is for all. Now, whether she can speak, whether she cannot speak, my child communicates with me with the eye, with smiles, with the other things, and I understand it better. She doesn't need to go and write BEC. She only needs to mingle. She only needs to socialize with other students, because when she started going to school and she sees other people laughing and other things, it brought out certain things in her that I didn't even know that she could cross to that milestone. But she was able to achieve it because she was seeing other children doing it, and she started doing it. Yes, because initially she wasn't eating. It's only Cerelac, that liquid things. And when she went to the school and saw children eating different kinds, now when you give her other food, she takes it. So inclusion is very important. Inclusive education is very important. That we should make sure that as the policy is set, implementation should also be enforced, so that all schools will be able to accept the child no matter what. And if they need certain things to put in place, like ours, if they need other specialists to make it work, the government is in a greater position to do that. Because if a school need, a special educator, if they need a caregiver, there are a lot of parents that are there that are not working, that they could be trained into caregivers to assist in the schools. There are children that have left SHS and GHS that are roaming about, not doing much. Caregiving is a dignified career, that when you train one to take it, it is one thing that you give to humanity that you can't get it anywhere.
So it takes the pressure off the parent.
Pressure off the parent. And government, the society does not know that when pressure is not only on parents, it is on the society. Because if my child is a burden, it's not a burden on me alone. It becomes a burden on the society, because all the things that are being put in place, she is entitled to. So when you give the opportunities out for the child to be able to move through the system, no matter how well. If she's crawling and doing it, let her crawl and do it. If she's running and doing it, let her, but give the opportunity. Train people, let them come and assist. It is not one person's cross to carry. It is the whole society. Because I wasn't comfortable. Some people were able to kill their children. Some of the children had to go through so many things. Sorry. Why is it so? Because the society put pressure on them that they couldn't handle. So if the society is supposed to give that helping hand, then of course, the children will also have the opportunity to live. And parents will also be able to give out their best into the society.
You mentioned that the support comes to only the children, forgetting about the parents who also are supporting, because obviously there are parents who have to leave their jobs, and more often than not it is the mothers who have to endure leaving their jobs to care for your children at home so that they too can have a good life. We have a ministry for gender and social. We have so many outfits in the country that pay particular attention to children. Are they doing enough?
There are parents in other countries that have children with cerebral palsy, autism, and Down syndrome, all the other developmental issues. But because the system is friendly, they are spearheading very educative, inclusive kind of organization that you sit back and you wonder, why can't Ghana do same? I started my organization. I wrote to the assembly that, can I get one physiotherapist to come and assist? Can we get one teacher to come and assist? And my letter was turned down. Yes. The reason for it being turned down is, okay, the funds are not this and that. But the thing is, I was giving it out freely to the community.
Yes.
Let the child come out. He's also human. Let him come out. But at the end of the day, the support that I needed, I couldn't get.
You are giving freely to the society, so you needed also the
society to also give
a
little, and so that at least together we can.
They turn down your.
They turn it down. So common fund. Some parents do not even know it exists. One, the education is low. One, parents are locked up that some of them do not even come out to even see what is happening or watch what is happening. When you go, the process is tedious to even get one. I was able to get some for some parents, and that was in 2018 that they got 1,000 Ghana cedis to use it to work to support the kids. 2018, I think we are 8 years down the line, and nothing has been given to any.
Interesting.
So the 1,000, with this case that you are mostly at the hospital, feeding from it, doing all other things from this same work, and no other support is coming again, how do you then survive? So you go, and most of them that started, the work has collapsed.
So our institutions do not take into consideration differently abled children and their families?
They said when it's afar, the picture is different. So people think that disability is too far, but one thing that one doesn't know that is very close. Sometimes when we talk, we use our former President Kufuor as an example, that if he knew that today he would be in a wheelchair, maybe he would have looked at disability maybe in a different way. We don't know tomorrow. Nobody wishes for the worst, but it is closer than you may think. Because I was just sitting in a chair conversing with my family when I had a stroke. I didn't know if it has not taken by grace for me to be here, I would still be down. Even now, half of my body is not functioning too well. So it's everybody's call. Let me put it that way. It's everybody's call. We can all do our quota, then at the end of the day, the grounds will be a better place for this case to be able to move in. Government should make sure that the policies that have been set are being implemented, and if it's implemented well. the government should make sure that support comes for caregivers. Because now I want to be here. I want to leave my child. Who do I leave my child with? Nobody wants to come and be a good caregiver. The salary aspect of it cannot even be mentioned, because they come and the money they mentioned, you can't even afford it. Yes. And they come 1-2 times, they are gone. Training is not there. Even the government itself can set up an institution that trains caregivers.
We have a lot of Ghanaians going out of the country to go and serve as caregivers.
Yes. And that was, they proudly go and do it outside, but they won't do it here. Why? It's because the system is not that friendly enough. Because parents, you come to me and you are charging me 1,500, 2,000 to take care of my child for a month. I was giving 1,000 to set up a business 8 years ago. Nothing has been put in. How then do I've been laid off my work because I am mostly at the hospital and I cannot be at work most of the times. They don't care that you cannot be there all the time because your child is on admission. Every 5 days in the month, I had to be at the hospital on admission with my child. My boss just laid me off. I was a secretary then. She said, no, Ellen, we can't handle it again. They just laid me off. But the thing is, if system has been put in place that I can get a caregiver, I can get a rehab center, somewhere to take my child from the morning till afternoon, just like when you have a 6-month-old child, you can take the child there. Of course, I would be able to also work and bring in an income. But this is the situation whereby I am left with my child 24/7. And I am asked to pay for physio. I am asked to pay for a caregiver. I'm asked to pay for all, including the medication they take, because some of them are seizures. And they are on daily medications. So it is a call for all of us, all government bodies, institutions, everybody, to come on board. Let's spread education. Let's give in the opportunities for these children to be able to have a safer and a better place, that even when parents and caregivers are not there, we'll know that our children are still safe.
We realize that in our society, it is the mothers that endure this the more. A lot of mothers, when their children are differently abled, the fathers are nowhere to be found. Is that so for many of the mothers that come your way?
Oh, it is so. When it comes to having a child with disability, parents think that, oh, it is not in the men, it's not in my family, it is you. Yes. But when the child is regular, that is my child. And it's so funny. I wouldn't say for all. Some of the men are really supportive. But when you take 100%, you get like 10. Wow. And the rest run away, leaving their kids. There's an experience of a mother that has 3 children. The child was in GHS when he had malaria and had the malaria cerebral. And at the end of the day, the father took the other boys and left. And left the child with the mother. I think 30 years so down the line, you see the boy, oh God, in fact, he passed on recently, and the mother was left to take care of the boy alone, with no father, with nobody. And when the parents come, it's like that, they are all alone with the kids. I always call those men cowards, because when it comes to the stage where you should be a man to support your family, you run off, leaving the responsibility all over to them, and it becomes seriously hard for parents, the mothers, to cope, especially those that do not, one, have God, those that do not have family support and other things. Especially, you know, some of the women, we actually neglect or lay off our family because of a man, and we follow the man. And when this happened and a man also turned his back on you, you are all alone. And when care is not taken, that is when you go and they have either poisoned themselves or the child, killed the child. And that is one thing that we pray, that parents, men who impregnate and give those children to mothers to carry, when they come out, the children are a blessing. Today you might see it hard, but they are a blessing. So give your support, stay. stay and work together, because when they are there, it makes the whole burden lighter. Yes, but when you're alone, going up and down, I think there was a day I left my child to just go and buy something by the roadside. When I came, I don't know who entered the room. She was actually pushed at the corner of the bed with her face down. She was foaming. Yes, when I watched her face, part of her face was bent. I don't know who came and wanted to harm. So if there's a support, somebody there, whilst I stepped out to buy, I think I wouldn't have come to meet her like that. So it is really hard, and mothers are carrying this burden all alone because the men have run away.
That's rather unfortunate and a sad thing to note. We hope that we do better, especially starting from the policy angle. Because I am sad that you started a foundation to help your society. You needed help from the assembly, and the assembly turned you down. At the very lowest level of decision making, if they are turning you down, what will we find at the top? Because we would expect the assembly to lead you all the way to the top.
And you go for the common fund, and it's really up and down, and sometimes some of the parents, the mothers, they give up and they don't even go again. I started a center from my hall, and when I started, there was no windows, there was no doors, and that was where I think I went to Accra and bought some carpet, rubber carpet on the floor, and I said, we are starting this. We are bringing those children out for them to be seen, for them to be heard. And you have that vision, you have that enthusiasm, that joy to help. And you go to people for support, and it's like, it's about this. What did they do? In fact, ever since I started, it's just some few, or let me say, one person that has stood by us, that at the end of every year, he comes in to support us with the end of year part, that we are able to give things out. And they have been constant with it. I think from 2008, 7 days, they have been constant every end of the year. They come to, and that is the La Branca Company Limited.
Okay, they have been supporting.
Yes, the director has been so helpful, and he's the one that comes in at the end of the month. It becomes very tedious. There are certain times that I've always planned to stop. You go and you have to come back and still do what you do, because the parent cannot, most of them cannot afford. Those that can afford is today, tomorrow is a different story. You wish you can get help from
all
angles so that you'll be able to give it to them, because mostly it's not even those that can afford that more. Those that, because social welfare will call you for a child that has been abandoned, for a child that is orphaned, that has been left no care, and they expect you to take care of this child with no support, because you have decided to do an NGO to support them. But the thing is, we do it, and you get to a stage and you can't do it again. Because when there's no food at the center, when there's nothing to support them, I cannot pay workers, because I need professionals, I need physiotherapists, I need special educators, I need all of them to be on board so that we can train these children, for some of them to be a little independent. So if we cannot get this and I can't pay them, then what happens? So since the government has not established other things, we are just asking to establish more. But I think that if help comes to organizations, parents that have taken it upon themselves, people that have taken it upon themselves to make sure that the voices of these children are heard, to make sure that these children are not left to be killed, I think it will go a long way to help. Yes.
Let's have the number of With God Cerebral Palsy Ghana, and how we can also reach you and support in our own small way.
Okay, so you can reach us on 0244 802068, 0244 802068, and we also have the organizational Momo number, that is 059 861 3811. Let me mention it again, 059 861 3811. 1111.
So the name will be
with God Cerebral
Palsy.
Ghana,
And
yes.
the little we can support with will go a long way.
It will go a long way, because we actually want to reach out into the community to help because some of them, when you get to their homes and you see what they are, because we do community entry, we go into the community, we support, and that is one thing. In fact, I've not actually said much about our services. So we actually do counseling for parents that are having sick children. We also train the parents in liquid soap, Parazole, and also APT. We actually make our own special chairs and standing frames out of cardboard.
Wow.
So we also asking that those companies that deals with bigger cardboard, the fridges, cardboard, and those television cardboards, yes, the boxes that they put them in. If you can also come and support us with it, will go a long way, because we use it to do APT. That is, we use it to do special chairs and tables, even the classroom tables and other things. We use those papers to do it, and we trained parents and also physiotherapists, anyone that want to learn how to do special chairs and standing frames and other things for this kids. When you call upon us, we can also come and do the training for you. So with the liquid soap and the detergent, that things, when you call upon us, we will come and do it. And we also do that education for people to understand, for caregivers to learn on feeding, toilet training, and other things. So that if you have a house help in the house, that you want to train the house help on how to take care of your child. Because now we see the videos going viral, and we know when you leave your child with a house help or something, it's not safe. So if you have one, that you need the person to be trained, a school need teachers to be trained, when you call upon us, we will be there to train them. Yes. And if you have a child with special needs, call upon us. We have the living, that is Monday to Friday, and we also have the full boarding, that the child comes in. We vacate on Easter and Christmas.
Okay.
So, and we have the day as well, that you can bring your child and come for the child 5 p.m. when we have closed.
Nice.
So
okay. That's a lot of help you're giving to parents who may not know what to do with themselves. And so now social media is the biggest currency. How do we find you on social media?
Okay, we are TikTok with Center of Ability _ 0105.
Okay, Center of Ability _ 0105.
Yes, and we also on Facebook and Instagram. When you type with God Cerebral Palsy, it will take you there. So we are on it.
And then we wish you well. We are most grateful that you came. This is a lot of insight that you've given us from the angle of parents and also policy, what we need to do the more to help with our brothers and sisters who are differently abled, giving the education to us as society, and also the support that we can also give. We'll do also support in our own small way to ensure that we give them a better life. Thank you so much, Ellen.
Thank you too for having me.
And we send our best regards and our love to them when you return.
Of course.
Elena Famdadzi is the executive director with God Cerebral Palsy Ghana. You have their numbers that she shared. You can support with God Cerebral Palsy Ghana so that we make the lives of our brothers and sisters who are living with this condition better, and we'll continue to advocate that policy would be broadened to ensure that they also enjoy the quality of life that they need to enjoy. But this is some education we did today on cerebral palsy. If you did not know anything about cerebral palsy, today you know not to perpetuate the stigma, because stigma is not the best thing to do for anybody who is differently abled than you. And so parents would have to also take it upon themselves to educate your children, so that if they are sitting in class with somebody who is differently abled, what they can give is their support and their love rather than stigmatization. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring you more on the show. Please stay with us.
Without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC, as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose the tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available, strawberry, coconut, and chocomo. This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild. New releases dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We pull the highlights, the dates, the events, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC, as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Baby, we are second. So you remember to point advert. Let's why so by advert no you tumpon na kwara nim dia.
Do you need a media house to shoot quality TV ad for your company or product? Bring your company's vision to life.
And you make media house we am potential films. So you must so you must don't worry. So you tumpon a course through advert dia contact woman.
We help businesses build their brands.
Ukraine omoduma hote omo quality camera somebody try.
Reach their target audience and ultimately drive sales and revenue growth.
Omoduma be new. Omoduma is perfect. O contact no good script about your product, sound, jet. They will give you quality pictures. How do you see it? How do you feel it? Wow. So people know na no makasa. First number way 0541 16 28 28. And repeat 0541 16 28 28. Call them. Number more
Potential Films. We believe in quality.
welcome back, ABC in the morning. You know, there's a lot I'm looking forward to because I think we are gearing closely and closely towards the World Cup. The Senior Athletics Championship has come to an end. Manchester City have been excited about their win of the FA Cup and all. So much is happening. Makion is here. He's also looking forward to when Arsenal will make him great. We'll see if it will make him great. Makion, you're welcome. How was your weekend?
Thank you, Abena. It was a great sporting weekend as usual.
Okay. How many days to the World Cup?
23 days more. 23 days more to the
Wow.
World Cup. Yeah,
Wow.
23 days more.
That is 3 weeks and 2 days.
Exactly, 23 days more.
Interesting. Please bring us the
And,
latest.
you know that
results.
across Europe, all the leagues have ended apart from the English Premier League,
Why?
which will end this particular weekend.
Mm.
So let's see if that happens. That tells you that we are drawing closer. On Friday, Ghana is playing against Mexico.
Oh, this
And,
Friday.
Yeah,
Hey,
already the local players have started flying out of the country to meet
okay.
their teammates in Mexico.
The 55-man squad is out.
It's not.
That,
Carlos has submitted it officially to FIFA, but it's not out to the public.
so what
yet.
we are seeing around is not the official
No,
one.
it's not the official one.
Because I had a lot of questions to ask
Yeah,
on that.
it's not the official
Then I'll
one.
hold my horses as we wait.
It's not the official one,
okay.
yeah. But let's start from the World Cup fact for today. Remember, it's just 23 days to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Today we are talking about Germany. Now, Germany have reached the FIFA World Cup final a remarkable 8 times, more than any nation in history. The Germans played in the finals of 1954, 1966, 1974, 1982, 1986, 1990, 2002, and 2014. Out of that, they've won 4 World Cup trophies and finished runners-up 4 times. One of the most consistent records in the history of the World Cup. So they won it in 1954. They won it in 1974, they won it in 1990, and the last time they won it was in 2014. So our World Cup fact for today is on Germany for reaching the FIFA World Cup finals for 8 times. So that's it for our World Cup fact. Now from the World Cup, let's head into the African Senior Athletics Championship. It came to an end yesterday at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. And let's have a look at the medal table. Ghana didn't win any gold. We went to the final of the 200 meters, went to the final of the 100 meters, went to the final of the 4x100 meters final, went to the final of the 4x400, went to the final of the 800 meters.
We made it to finals. It's not like
we
were
made
out.
it to even some of the finals. We had 2 Ghanaians in there. We didn't win any gold medal in there. So let's have a look at the athletics table. The first one. So South Africa are winners of the African Senior Athletics Championship. They had 18 medals there, 9 gold medals, 3 silver medals, then 6 bronze medals. Kenya finished 2nd, Ethiopia finished 3rd, Nigeria finished 4th, La Côte d'Ivoire finished 5th there, Botswana finished 6th, Egypt finished 7th, Senegal finished 8th, and then Cameroon finished 9th in there. Let's have a look at the rest of the table on our screens, and let's see where Ghana finished. Burkina Faso finished 11th, Algeria 12th, Niger 13th, Eritrea 14th, Morocco 15th, Malawi 16th, then there is Ghana 17th on the league log. We didn't win any gold medal. We had 1 silver medal from Obenewa, and then 4 of those medals are bronze medals, whilst Liberia finished last in the medal table. So that's it in the African
We will be grateful that we finished with medals.
Yeah.
Kudos to our athletes.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
the challenges they
even
have
apart
faced.
from the challenges, if you take away Joseph Paul Saminu, Ibrahim Fuseni, and let's say Alex Amankwa, Edwin Gadai, the rest are students, SHS students. Some are in their first year in the university. So there is a development grounds for them, and they have done so.
I hope and pray that we pump a lot more resources into that aspect of our sports and discipline, and ensure that we get better and better.
Yeah, exactly. So we
can't be at the fringes. Oh, true.
We are hoping for more on that. But Joseph Paul spoke, but because of time, let's move on to other matters. And let's move on to the under-17 AFCON. Yesterday, the Black Stars of Ghana lost to Algeria by a goal to 0.
First, before you even go to that, I saw on social media that the bench should stop screaming.
You were shouting, "Clear your lines, clear your lines."
Why?
Don't commit a foul. You know, well, I understand them because these are young lads playing football. Sometimes on the field, if you don't give them the instructions, they will do what they want. But
and they were screaming at them too much.
It was too much. But that's football for you. Sometimes that's how the game is. It's part of the hazard. But they lost against Senegal. Now we had a penalty in the first half. Isaac Bafo, who is our captain, lost that particular penalty.
Oh, he couldn't convert it.
He couldn't convert it. Later in the game, Senegal had a red card. So we were playing against 10 men.
And we still lost.
Then we lost by a goal, you know. So that means that Ghana are bottom of the league log. I mean our group D. We have just a point. Yesterday, South Africa also lost to Algeria. So Algeria have 3 points, South Africa have 3 points, Senegal have 3 points. Ghana have a point. Our next game is against South Africa. We need to beat them if we want to go to the World Cup. Remember, 8 teams automatically, if you qualify from the rounds, automatically are going to the World Cup.
Okay.
Under 17 World Cup. And also, apart from the 8 teams that will qualify automatically from their group, we will pick about 3 third place best teams. And so we are hoping that Ghana will be part of them. Yeah, we need to win at all costs against South Africa in there. So in the coming days, I think on Wednesday, we will play that particular game against South Africa. We will see how it goes in there. But Mediama Sporting Club are champions of the Ghana Premier League, the 2025-2026 edition of the Ghana Premier League.
How did Kotoko play?
We will come to the results, but we have one more game to play.
Okay.
We have one more game to play this weekend, but with one game to spare, Mediama are champions after beating Heart of Lions by 5 goals to 2. BBN Gold Stars couldn't win their game in there, so that means Mediama Sporting Club, the champion. They their second trophy in the club's history, and this is the 4th time that a club from Western region have won the Ghana Premier League 4 consecutive times in a row. That tells you that the clubs in the Western region are doing a lot of things. Now let's move on to the Ghana Premier League results for this particular weekend, and let's see how the clubs fared in there. No, the Ghana Premier League results. Ghana Premier League results. Good. So Nations Football Club lost to Vision Football Club by a goal to nil. Mediama beat Heart of Lions by 5 goals to 2. 11 Wonders at home lost to Bekum Chelsea by 2 goals to 0. Diana Stars beat Young Apostles by 3 goals to 1. Dreams Football Club beat BBN Gold Stars by 3-1. Bechem United beat Asante Kotoko. Also there, I'm not asking about Asante Kotoko. Bechem United beat them by 3 goals to 1. Samatex beat House of Folk by a goal to nil. Karela United beat straight draw Blacks. Whilst that game between Hohoy United and Basake Hollister didn't come on because Hohoy are no more in the Ghana Premier League. That gives 3 points to Basake Hollisters in there. So that's how the Ghana Premier League ended. But let's move on to the English Premier League. And Chelsea Football Club have appointed Xabi Alonso as the new club's manager. So Xabi Alonso from Real Madrid has now joined Chelsea Football Club as their manager in there. He has signed a 4-year contract. Remember, he has coached Bayer Leverkusen, won the Bundesliga with them at Real Madrid. Things didn't go well for him, but now he has joined Chelsea. Liam Rosinia was their former manager. Now Xabi Alonso has stepped in. We will see whether he can bring the glory days back to Chelsea Football Club. But to the Emirates FA Cup, Manchester City won the FA Cup. Ghana's Antoine Semenyo scored the only goal of the game to give Manchester City the FA Cup title. He becomes the first Ghanaian to score in an FA Cup final. That is tremendous for Antoine Semenyo, the first Ghanaian to score in an FA Cup final, and also the first Ghanaian after Anthony Yeboah to score 20 plus goals in the English Premier League and also the FA Cup. So Manchester City winning their double of the season. Remember, they won the Carabao Cup and now they've won the FA Cup. They will be willing to win the English Premier League to get a domestic treble, but that is not happening because Arsenal are going to win that particular trophy in there. Now let's have a look at some of the results in the English Premier League and let's wrap it up. So let's look at the results. So there you have it on our screens. Manchester United beat Nottingham Forest by 3 goals to 2. Brentford Football Club went ahead to beat drew 2-2 with Crystal Palace. That game happened yesterday. Everton Football Club beat Sunderland. Sunderland beat them by 3 goals to 1. Wolves drew 1-1 with Fulham. Leeds United beats Brighton and Hove Albion. Newcastle United also beat West Ham United by 3 goals to 1. By virtue of that, West Ham are going to relegation. Tomorrow, Chelsea will play against Tottenham. If Tottenham wins, that means West Ham United are going on relegation. And tonight, at the Emirates Stadium. It is Arsenal Football Club versus Burnley Football Club. If Arsenal beats Burnley and tomorrow Bournemouth beat Manchester City, or they even draw, Arsenal will be confirmed as champions of the English Premier League for the first time in more than 20 years. So that's our wrap up sports on ABC in the morning with me, James Ahenba Makion.
For the first time in more than how many years?
20
years. That is a lot. We look forward to seeing what will happen for you. Well, that's all for the latest in the world of sports. But before we go, some birthday wishes. This is a belated happy birthday to Chris Angela Say, a student of the University of Health and Allied Sciences, UHAS. This is coming from Mama Gladys Lanska and myself. Abena to you, Angela. A belated happy birthday to you. I pray that the year is a wonderful and beautiful one for you. And this is a happy birthday to Osahin. Let me take my time and do this one. To Osahene Kweku Atechi II, the Oman Hene of Ahafuku Kum traditional area and a member of the Asanteman Council. A happy birthday to you, Osahene. This is from Albert Kwame Mante and all descendants of Owusua of Yeji. Happy birthday to you, Osahene. God bless you, Nana. God bless you, Wonkwaso. And finally, a happy birthday to my big sister, ABENA Mante, from myself, from Albi, from Mommy, Daddy, from the entire family, Mommy. A happy birthday to you. We do appreciate you so much. You are the best big sister anybody could ever wish for. We are sending you all of the love from here to you and pray that the years ahead blow your mind, give you all that you pray for and are very amazing to you. And so, Mame, a happy birthday to you. We love you, and we love you so much. We can't wait to see you soon. A happy birthday to you. And that's how we wrap up today's show here on ABC in the morning. Thank you for joining me, my viewers. There's no ABC in the morning without you. A very big thank you to Ellen Afam Dadzi, the Executive Director for With God Cerebral Palsy Ghana. Please do well to support a worthy cause by supporting her foundation, as they do so much for those living with cerebral palsy and their families that are ensuring that they have a great life. Let's continue to educate ourselves and ensure that we do better than we are doing. Stigma has no place within our society. What we need is support, education, and love, and we'll become better persons for that. Thank you to the production and technical team for putting together today's show. We are most grateful to you. We appreciate you for today's show. We'll come your way same time tomorrow with ABC in the morning. Until then, I wish you the best of this Monday, 18th May 2026. Enjoy the day and make the most of it.